Welcome, everybody, to the
I'm Fat Podcast.
Snacks are best saved for later.
With Jay Zawoski.
That man ate all our shrimp and 2 plastic lobsters.
And Rick Camp.
Out of the mist came a beast more stomach than man.
Welcome into another edition of the I'm Fat Podcast, brought to you by our sponsors, Charlie the Bacon Guy, Mazda of Orland Park, Fredo's Culinary Kitchen, and Nick and Ivy Brewing. I am Rick Camp alongside fellow fat Jay Zawoski, and Jay, it's been a weekend.
Oh, it has.
Football is back in full swing, and boy, did we have a football weekend. And by we, I mean the collective, but also you and I.
Yes, we did. We certainly did. And yes, we'll get to that, of course. I'm sure everyone's waiting to. We'll get to it. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Make sure you're following us on all of our social medias at I'm Fat Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. We also have the fan page on Facebook. We've got our merch shop, I'mFatMerch.com. We've got our YouTube page, youtube.com/I'mFatPodcast. A bunch of new followers on there. We appreciate that. Just kind of a production meeting on the air, Rick, here. Maybe we do one of these live anyway, even if we're recording on time. I think it really helps, like the hours watched and that sort of stuff, which we're working on. So we'll probably surprise you with them. But now and again, you might get a Sunday Night Live episode. It won't be next Sunday because the whole world will be watching the Bears.
Yes.
But soon we'll be doing that. So keep an eye on that and subscribe. youtube.com/I'mFatPodcast. Like all the videos there and turn on those notifications. So if we do go live, you'll know. What else? I think we got everything else down, right?
Yeah, I think we're
all
good.
Right. Well, go ahead.
Obviously, this is a food and fat culture podcast.
Yes.
But you could say, looking at the NIU team and especially their uniforms, this actually does fit.
Yes, something had to fit them.
Yeah, because So people that have listened a long time know I went to NIU. Jay is a huge Notre Dame fan and always has been.
Irish Catholic, so I basically went to Notre Dame too.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, shit, I grew up, like, I remember on college football Saturdays, like, when I was really young, going to my my grandparents' place and like, you know, Irish Catholic on my mom's side, and my grandpa got me rooting for Notre Dame, but my dad would always root for whoever else. So I have a vague memory of like betting a penny on, it was a Notre Dame Florida State game at some point. And just like having fun with the whole, like, ironically for now, or fittingly, just like the whole betting aspect of it, and like having the real interest in the game. But like after my grandpa died, the Notre Dame thing kind of wore off for me, and then going to Northern and, you know, being as involved as I was, I love that university. So the fact that Northern went to Notre Dame and got a 16-14 win, like,
deservedly so, by the way.
Yeah, like it's not even one of those where it's like there were like that first touchdown was a total fluke play. Ethan Hampton had a very good day.
Yeah,
however,
that ball should have been picked.
Yeah, either he was throwing. I'm convinced he was throwing to the other receiver, and it just so happened that because of the good coverage and the good jam off the line, that's where Ontario Brown ended up being. And mind you, Ontario Brown's awesome. Kind of a fat, like running back.
I was going to say, yeah.
He's a bit of a running back.
He's a little lumpy.
Also, those NIU pants, those like just solid black pants with no stripes or any sort of anything, horrific for the linemen, for anybody. Everybody looked fat.
Well, and the jerseys. So what I noticed is the NIU jerseys, which were white, had Huskies across the chest, but the size of it didn't change based on the jersey.
Correct.
So like the quarterback's Huskies was the same size as the lineman, so the lineman would have a really tiny little one.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably hard to do, but they all look like the back of Major League Baseball uniforms this year. But let's not look. I'm not going to rant on Notre Dame the whole time. I would like them to find a quarterback that can throw the ball. that would be
Even
helpful.
Jason Garrett was talking about how that's not his bag, but they want to make it more his bag.
It's not his bag. And that pick he threw up one late in the game. I think that's the farthest throw he attempted all year.
Yeah, and it was like, it's not like the timing was a little off, or
it was to no one. It was like a punt.
Well, yeah, and that was the other thing too, is it was like, it's also one thing if like he knows where he wants to go with it, but like there's pressure and he can't step into it. That's
Right.
also one thing, but he was able to step into that.
No, he's just bad. And his decision making is bad. I know everybody wants Marcus Freeman fired, and maybe because you can't lose to Marshall, you can't lose to his 3-win Stanford team. And somebody on Twitter said it like, he can beat the ranked teams, but not the MAC teams. Brian Kelly can't beat anyone that's ranked, but wins all the games he's supposed to. It's like, can we find like the Marcus Kelly? Where's Marcus Kelly? We need Marcus Kelly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Riley
Does
Leonard.
Marcus Kelly have the LSU accent?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But like Riley Leonard with the A&M game, where Notre Dame deserved to win. They bullied at Texas A&M for 60 minutes. But I'm like, this quarterback's kind of not doing anything. Like he's dinking and dunking and he's running the ball with success.
Yeah.
And he can't do anything. And then all of a sudden, NIU comes and he thinks it was certainly the first half. Like Notre Dame's like, well, we're going to win this game.
Yeah, that
And then it
first
was too
drive,
late.
I was just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Because that first drive from Notre Dame was impressive, and Leonard was running the ball a lot.
Well, anyway, bask in your glory. The NIU played great. And now in the top 25, correct?
Yeah, top
Are they-
25 for the first time since 2013.
Are they 4-0?
They're 2-0.
Why,
And
why
I
do
mean-
I keep hearing people saying 4-0? Maybe I'm drunk.
I don't know. But
Right.
the thing is, I had no idea coming in, because I'm not a college football guy. I don't claim to know much going into a season.
Mhm.
I know they beat the crap out of Western, and Western sucks.
Yeah, they haven't
As-
won in like years. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like that was no barometer for anything. And anytime Ethan Hampton had played quarterback previously, he was not good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's be honest, there were moments in this game where he was not good. And it was essentially, they have a very narrow band of how they can play and how they win. And it just so happened in this game, it played perfectly. Like they are known for, I remember in Hammock's first year, they're like, they run the most unique and diverse types of runs
Yeah.
almost in the country. Like there were like X's and O's people who are much smarter than either of us were like, holy shit, look at everything they do. So it's a really cool run game, but then they can't throw the ball. And
Right.
like, especially if you've played with them in college football 25, like Rudolph is the only wide receiver. Like that tight end Barnes that had a couple really clutch catches is awesome. They only have one receiver that's worth a damn. So it's like they need to stay on schedule. That's what I was telling you and Shep all game, is if they are not on schedule, they are screwed.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
like-
were for the whole game.
Yeah, like they were able to do it, and their defense, like their defensive coordinator is fun. Like he's like, we're playing man, and we're gonna come get you because we know you don't like being under pressure and then having to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
And they stuck enough. And Notre Dame had some weird play calling offensively, not getting the ball to guys that should have had the ball, but also NIU's run defense with actually a guy we should mention for this podcast. First guy you mentioned to me. You said, what did you say? Number 8
Is a
Number-
unit?
He's a unit.
Yes.
Yes, that's Devontae O'Malley, who is listed at 6'2", 293. Even
Yes.
in those uniforms, I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, listed at, add probably 15 to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you mentioned the run game, and they had Notre Dame's linebackers were off balance all night. They didn't know where to go with all the misdirections and everything. They were on their heels the whole game. I played football in high school, and when you're playing defense and the team you're playing against is running the ball on you and you can't stop them, it is the most
Deflating.
frustrating. It is deflating as hell. You like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like you'd spend the whole game just like,
Yes.
at like 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards. Like, God damn, like stop somebody.
Yeah.
It is the most aggravating thing in the world. So they played great. I'm happy for Northern. I think
Yeah.
Northern is going to prove to be better than people thought.
Yeah, like the funny thing is, I think their style works better in a game like this than in MAC play necessarily.
Yeah, maybe.
Where you have a little more offensive football, and like they can't come from behind really. Like if it's more than a score, it's going to be rough. But I mean, it's fitting for us that they won in the trenches. They absolutely won the game in the trenches. They were awesome on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And I will say, like, as I was like, I don't lose my, like, you've said it, I am the wet blanket of sports people generally.
Yes, you are.
I was absolutely losing my shit during this game because, like, Sam had gone to meet up with somebody, with like one of her friends, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch, Northern. I'll probably lose pretty decent to Notre Dame, figuring maybe it's close, but like no real thought that they could win. And then like even after that Ontario Brown touchdown and make it 7-7, I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, keeping it interesting at least.
Yeah, exactly. But then as it started going, I'm like, I'm in. This is possible. And like after the game ended, and I'm going through all my texts, like my phone's blowing up. I look at Sam and she's like, okay, well, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, I want cheese nuggets from Pizza Pros.
Did you go?
No,
dude,
I was
probably burnt down.
If I
after
was
that win,
if I was single at the time, I probably would have gone. I probably would have gone just to do, but like I don't know. I was just like, it was an hour drive, and I just needed something Northern in that moment, and it's also incredible, and I haven't had it in forever. I should have just done it.
Yeah. How often does that happen?
Right. I also didn't want to leave Sam to have dinner alone because I want to drive to Northern to
come with you.
She didn't want to go with, and mind you, nor should she have wanted to go with.
That's true.
But yeah, so it was cool as someone who was like kind of there, not full tilt ground level, but like when I started in college, it was right after Northern had that 10-2 year with Michael the Burner Turner, and they beat Alabama and they beat Maryland, and they were 10-2 and did not get asked to be in a bowl game.
Yeah,
that's when the rule got changed. But to like see like some of the ups and downs and all the coaches and players they've gone through to now have them beat a top 5 team, whether they deserve to be a top 5 team, whatever. A team that was ranked in the top 5, Northern won with a team that I don't even necessarily think is like one of their best teams in, like the last 15 years.
Right.
But they still were able to win is such a cool thing for a team that I had no idea had a chance to do this, because like Thomas Hammock is really cool. And like, I like the dude's personality, but I'd been frustrated with him for certain things as a coach, but the way he does things and how fanatical they were about like, let's run this clock down under 10, almost 5, every single play to shorten this game so that Notre Dame has as few opportunities as possible to show that they have more talent, essentially.
Yeah.
That's your game theory of it. The fact they were so rigid in that was a testament to them and the discipline that team has. And they looked like they knew they were the better team that day.
Well, that's a good point, because like UCF was hanging with Alabama for a while, and then it was just a matter of like, nope, the better athletes just won. Like it just happened. We're the better athletes just won. And like you could probably say the same about the Bears game today, where like eventually the Bears defense was like, all right, enough of this shit. Like we are winning this game right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
Will Levis can't wait to throw you the ball at some point, but I also do think Tennessee, like the talent around him in Tennessee, is a little better than people give it credit for.
You got Hopkins and Ridley.
Still. Yeah, and
Joseph
even
Hopkins, but still.
Yeah, like Latha, like their 2 top 10 picks that are on the offensive line look good. They got some dudes on defense. Like Jeffrey Simmons is an absolute dude, and Coleman Shelton is a goddamn turnstile for the Bears.
At least the turnstile stays standing.
Yeah,
he got the like 19-yard loss sack on Williams, where Shelton just basically was like not even there. Like it might as well have just been like, there you go, Ole, right to the quarterback, and yeah, maybe throw it away. But like he's trying to make something happen. And then there was another play late in the game where he just got annihilated. It's like, what do you want the quarterback to do when he's got 0.3 seconds to throw the ball?
Right. Yeah, it's
He's
like
bad.
yeah, it's like Caleb didn't have a good day, but also like to show what and I know this isn't against the spread number, but just bear with me that number 1 overall picks who start the first game of their career before today 0-14-1 in their last 15 games. Like it's just a thing where they're like
Yeah.
general and now mind you, generally you're on a much worse team
Right.
than Caleb's on, but also that rest of the team is what helped boost them to the win. So, it's just one of those where it's a game. It's one game. Like, do you wish it was at least a little bit better? Sure.
Well, I mean, you add a touchdown
win.
pass in there, which they should have had because Keenan Allen just flat dropped one. That throw was perfect.
Yeah.
And he just flat dropped it. And how often is that going to happen this year?
Yeah. Not
once,
often.
maybe, So anyway, it's not a sports podcast, but I think it's on a lot of people's minds this weekend.
Yeah.
So the important question was, what was your Bears cuisine? What did you do during the game?
I am extremely lame. We have like nothing around the house.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much, I knew it was Sam was sitting there with me for most of the game, or at least some of the game. We were like, oh God, we need lunch. Oh, we didn't think about this ahead of time. Oh God, because we wanted to sleep in a little bit. And then I was like, oh yeah, I have to get all my against the spread pool picks in and survivor picks in and fantasy team sets. So time got away. We just got Panda.
Hey, whatever.
And I was just like, as much as I can eat right now with my stupid mouth.
Yeah,
like,
that's part of it.
Just had orange chicken and just was kind of gnawing on that during the game. So I mean it served its purpose. It was perfectly fine. And was able to do what I wanted to do during the game in terms of watching and following other stuff and whatever. So that's all it was for me. I know I'm totally lame. What did you have going on?
Well, so 2 days ago, Friday, when did I make the chili? Yeah, it was Friday morning because I was working remotely on Friday.
Okay.
So woke up, really wanted chili and got all the accoutrement, and then I ended up not even eating it. No.
Did you put on the hat?
I don't know where the hat is. I think Hope might have burned it. I don't know. I look really bad in that hat. It's somewhere. It's buried in my closet.
Don't give Sam any ideas. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Just throw it on top of the Daniel Jones jersey outside the Giants game. So I made Charlie's chili. Charlie, the big guy, has sent me his super top secret recipe, which is why I always remind people when they order from Charlie to get that ground bacon. Because his recipe, I take his order, which makes 2 gallons of chili, and I just half it.
Okay.
I take the entire thing and half it. And so he gave me a pound of ground chili, used a half a pound in the chili. Dude, it was perfect. It turned out great. And like he says in the recipe, you can eat it the first day, but like let it sit and let everything work together for a couple days.
Yeah.
I had it the day I cooked it, I had a bowl. Yesterday I had a bowl. And then today I finished off the gallon I made.
Nice.
And had like 3 bowls with the macaroni and the cheese. And I put some flaming hot Fritos in there.
You have to have the macaroni.
See, I've never done it before. And Greg Boyson, my partner at CHGO, was like, dude, you got to get macaroni. It makes chili last longer.
Yeah.
More filling. So I did it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the new move. That's the move.
Yeah. And then it can also like substitute for if you were someone that usually puts like oyster crackers or saltines in there.
I'm
like,
a Fritos
exactly the same. Yeah. Or you do the Frito like that. I think that's a smarter move. But like, yeah, like it can also substitute for that if you really wanted.
Right. And I think sometimes like oyster crackers can dry it out a little bit.
Sure.
Because your mouth gets it makes it like gummy almost. Whereas the macaroni still has some moisture to it. So yeah, the chili was great. And then Hope loves football season because we just have a lot of apps and stuff. So she made
because apps are the best.
Yeah, she made a big thing of buffalo chicken dip.
Nice.
We still have a significant amount of it left, so we'll have some of that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I've been eating chili all weekend, and boy, our house smells like it, buddy. I Hope's like, why is it candlelit? I go. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, it could be worse, I'm sure, but it's just like, well, there's a lot of beans in it. He uses kidney beans and Great Northern beans.
Okay.
In his chili. And I used to not be a bean guy. I know you're not a bean guy in your chili.
Yeah.
But they add a nice like hardiness to it for me. Instead of where it feels like I'm just eating ground beef.
Sure.
The beans add a little something different to it. So delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. I'm not at liberty to give Charlie's recipe out, but maybe if you hit him up, and we'll tell you how to do that later in the show, or you can email him, charliethebaconguy@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you order enough, we'll attach that recipe for you because it was damn good.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad, like, the fall weather's back. Today was a locked and loaded football game. Like, from 10:30, I turned on Fox to watch the overmodulated Jeff Joniak give me a pregame report. Watch the Fox pregame, and then Bears, then right to Red Zone as soon as they walk off the field.
Yep.
Red Zone into Football Night in America, into Lions and Rams. It's like, here we go.
Let
We're
it
here.
wash all over you.
Yes. And now that Notre Dame lost, I got my Saturdays back.
Yes, you did.
So there you go.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Thank you for my Saturdays back. Now you're screwed on Saturdays. You have to watch Northern until they lose, which will never happen again.
Oh, well,
yeah. All right, let's take our first break of the show. Hey, if you're in the market for a new car or you're looking for a great place to get your current Mazda serviced, we recommend Mazda of Orland Park. We've been telling you about them for years. I've been a customer of theirs for even longer than that. I've got a 2015 CX-5 and a 2022 CX-30. Just put the 60,000 mile marker on the CX-30, and they're both running strong. The CX-5 is like 175,000 or some astronomical number, and they've been the two most reliable vehicles I've ever owned. And whenever a problem does arise, I take it to Mazda of Orland Park for service, and they do a fantastic job. They show you a video of the things that need to be done, or what they suggest be done. And you check, do this, don't do this, don't do this. Boom, you're in and out in under an hour. It's a wonderful experience. Competitive pricing as always. So check them out. Mazda of Orland Park, right there on 159th Street in, you guessed it, Orland Park. Visit their website, mazdaoforlandpark.com.
So to placate me,
Yes,
because of Northern's big win, we have buried the food lead for this show.
Yes.
That you said we had that I had not seen. So I am excited for this.
Yes, we have news from our Culver's insider. Here we go. Hey, Fats. I know it's been a while since you've heard from me, but I do have a small teaser. As you should know, October 15th is National Cheese Curd Day and the return of the world-renowned Curder Burger.
Let's go.
That's good news. However, that is not the only news. This year, Culver's is bringing another new item in to help celebrate all month long: hot honey cheese curds. With their Wisconsin cheddar cheese curds, this hot honey combo delivers both on their classic ooey gooiness while delivering some serious flavor we know guests and Fats will love. Just like the Curder Burger, these will be a limited time offer while supplies last. So Culver's is coming out with hot honey cheese curds. There is the promotional banner for you. I have a little logo there for a second so you can see that. There it is. That's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. This might be a me waiting in line outside like Rick at a Real Urban Barbecue situation.
That it's such a good idea because like everybody is everybody's in on hot honey right now. Every place needs a hot honey something.
Yeah.
And this is a great option because with all the flavor in the curds, like there's no difference in spice level or anything. So to be able to have that, that's a great idea. So yes, that will be happening. The fact that I live so close to a Culver's is one of those like, why are we so blessed situations for me? Because like, it's just a great go-to of just like, okay, what do we want? Something real quick and easy. Oh, we just have the best, fast food restaurant in the area. This is Jay getting back at me for Northern winning.
I knew I had it handy somewhere. All right. If you've heard us talk about this, you've never seen it, head to our YouTube, youtube.com/I'mFatPodcast. The picture of Rick waiting outside Real Urban Barbecue with what appears to be a bomb in a bag in case he's not first.
So exactly. It was literally, I didn't know how long I was going to be there. Like, okay, if I get bored, I can pull out the laptop and do some work that I needed to do because so the full story is I left early And I talked to my work at the time and I was like, listen, I'm going to try and be first in line. If I'm first in line, I will be staying and getting the free barbecue for a year. If I'm not first in line, I'll just come to work a little early, leave a little early. And they're like, okay, cool, deal. So I get there like 10 minutes before that other guy. And it was in October, but it was cold.
It appears to be.
So I was ready. I had things to keep me occupied. I had things to keep me warm. And you know what? I got that $600 of free barbecue.
And you ate every dollar.
Goddamn right I did.
Yes, as you should have. Good work. Still, that just brings me delight like nothing else in the world. I love it. It is. If I'm having a bad day, I find that, and I'm good to go. It's a great one.
I have no shame. Never will.
No, but that hot honey curds sounds great. Find a way to make a hot honey curd burger. There's the next goal.
That's
gonna be a winner. Or you just get an order of the hot honey curds and just put them on a burger.
True.
I haven't been to Culver's in like maybe a month and a half.
Why?
I know. I don't know. I just haven't. I've been trying to. Okay, so we went to Disney. We went to Kansas City. I had oral surgery.
Yeah.
I've had like a bunch of massive expenses that my credit card allows me to like pay over time.
Sure.
So instead of paying the like 29% interest on the credit card, I can just opt to say like, I'll give a $5 a month penalty to pay it off in 12 months or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
But I have like several of these things now. So it cuts like my interest savings balance that I have to pay every month is like getting higher and higher. So I'm really trying to cut back on takeout because I did one of those things like, let's analyze your monthly spending.
Oh no, you never do that.
Oh my God.
Never.
I was actually in therapy when I did it.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. Like I'm making more money than I've ever made. Like, and she's like, well, about how much a month do you? I'm like, oh, and then I ran. It was like almost a paycheck a month on takeout. So I'm trying to be better about that. I'm trying to like pick my spots a little better. I'm packing a lunch for work.
Yeah, I have to be better about that, about packing a lunch for work. I personally need to be better because we have a wedding to save for. And
Well, I have to tell you though, like when I had the office job at BBM, I would bring my lunch, but I'm like, well, there's that lunch that I'm not super interested in. Right. Or I can walk out the door and I've got 50 amazing options right here. That's tough. And then they had the days at the Prudential where the Harold's chicken truck would show up.
Oh, I don't even remember that. I just remember the jerk chicken truck showing up.
Oh, so this was like maybe like just post COVID they started doing this.
Oh, okay.
They would
that's right. Yeah, they would have the 2 or 3 in that like area. Yeah.
So that was not good for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is. I'm just got to save money. So, but like again, we went to we got Chipotle for lunch this weekend. It's like $35 for the 3 of us. It's like, God. I mean, do it. Like, Hope got a bowl, Eddie got a bowl, I got a burrito. It's $35.
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
Every time you go out, it's crazy. And I went to this is what we'll talk about next. I went to BDub's on Thursday because it's buy one get one boneless day, and I had forgotten to pack my lunch because that was the day I had to go get the bacon from Charlie at his house.
Oh yeah,
it was like a whole day. So I actually did forget to pack my lunch. So I'm like, well, I got a little bit of time. I'm gonna go to BDub. So I tried on the side their buffalo bacon sauce, which I was a little bit like, does this sound good? Does this sound like something I want? Yeah. I have to say, I did enjoy it. Now, here's a picture of it on your screen. I just got the little side cup. And you can see there's little bits in there. And Charlie asked me, is there bacon in it or is it bacon flavor? And I think it was bacon flavored.
Okay.
That said, it was quite good. Now, I would find it hard to eat an order of wings with this on it. Because it's a very, very strong bacon taste.
Okay.
Which is good, but you also are eating fried chicken.
Yes.
So it's kind of like two very intense flavors battling.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if you're a tenders guy, get it on the side, or if you're wedges and fries, order like a sample cup of it. And it was really good for fry dipping. So I did like it. I think I would not love it in its fully like winged state.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was I asked the girl, I go, do people like this? She's like, kinda. People seem to be kind of like, I could take or leave it. I'm like,
Sure.
all right, well, I'll sample. And I told her, I said, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
So this is the buffalo bacon sauce at Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know how long it's going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but I was there September 5th, so I would imagine probably till the end of the month. I don't know.
Okay.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. And I gotta say, I've said this a couple times.
Yeah.
I do feel like BDubs has like re-picked up their game a little bit in terms of the consistency of the food, and like the value's been a little better. I
Sure.
feel like prices have maybe gone down a little, where like the quality and the quantity of and like the size of the tenders and wings has gotten better,
Mm-hmm.
which was sorely needed because it was bad for a while there,
Yeah.
where you drop $30 and then, oh, I have two little turds on my plate. For all intents and purposes, like
Yeah.
this tiny ass little boneless wing. Like, does this one count? You counted that one?
Right.
Yeah. Brutal.
Well, related, I actually tried a new limited time sauce at Wingstop this week.
No pictures, right?
No picture.
Okay.
It's their sweet barbecue blaze, which I'm actually not the biggest fan of their sweet barbecue by itself. I think it might also be because when they have like a thicker sauce, they really glom it on
They do
at
put a lot of sauce on
Wingstop, which I could use a little less
Yeah.
in general. But this was, I'll just read. Yeah, I will just read the description of this one. And it says that the sweet barbecue blaze combines sweet and spice by dusting a dry rub seasoning on top of a wet sauce, creating a bold flavor inspired by two distinct barbecue regions, Kansas City and Nashville.
So one was bad, one was good. Based on my experience, anyway.
Yeah, right. But still, like the balance of the two, like the sweet with that spicy,
Yeah.
was really freaking good.
And you got it on boneless wings, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were fantastic.
Okay.
Like I next to maybe it's up there as like maybe my second favorite next to the lemon pepper.
Wow.
Like that. And I do love the Louisiana rub.
Yeah, me too.
So that's something else that I love from there, but it's very, very good. So I don't know how long it's going to be at Wingstop. I believe it is a limited time flavor. So go to Wingstop and get the sweet barbecue blaze because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, I will try it. And it is like a honeyish glaze, like a translucent glaze. Yeah. That
Well,
sounds good.
it's more of just it's kind of like it's basically their sweet barbecue, but with a dry rub with it.
Oh, nice.
So it's like a Nashville dry rub with the sweet barbecue.
Okay.
So yeah, it was very good. I was a little Sam really wanted to try them actually even more than I did. So now I'm just like, mouth watering thinking of them. But I'm glad we did because they were great.
They do a really good job with their promotional flavors. I feel like they do a good job of not having it be gimmicky.
Yeah.
Like I'll say like bacon buffalo sauce, like that sounds very
That's
gimmicky,
gimmicky.
catchphrasey.
Mhm.
Whereas Wingstop, when they do something, it is for a function. Like
Mhm.
it is to be a better wing. They do. I mean, they're so clear in a way the best wing chain there is.
Yes.
It's not really particularly close when you talk about, like we were saying earlier, the quality of the food, the size of the items,
Mhm.
and the value. Like their value is almost like, how are you in business?
Yeah, right.
In comparison to other wing places, like they're significantly cheaper.
Yes.
So yeah, all right. I'm in. I'll try that this week. I'm definitely interested in that. Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm such like for whatever reason, I'm such a BDubs loyalist because Hope and I used to just go there all the time, and
Sure.
it was always like my place. And I don't know. I'm ready to admit defeat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, even with B-dubs being back to a point and I've been back, it's still not as good as Wingstop.
Yeah, it's significantly better. All right, so I got a recommendation for everybody. Speaking of sitting down and watching a game,
Mhm.
big chips and salsa guy here, as
Yes.
I think most fats are. I have found what I determined is to be my favorite store-bought salsa.
Okay.
This is the Simply Nature organic
Mhm.
salsa. This is from Aldi.
Hmm.
So it comes in like a big tub, like your typical clear plastic tub of salsa.
Yeah.
And this is not the chunky kind. This is kind of like the pureed kind of salsa, which I really like. Not that I don't like a chunky salsa, but I really prefer like the puree style of salsa.
Same. Mhm.
Good amount of heat, really fresh tasting.
Nice.
It's terrific. And I think it's like $2.30 for one of these tubs.
Wow.
So I was at Aldi yesterday, got 2 of these, and I gotta say too, speaking of upping your game, in recent years, Aldi's really done a good job of like their stuff is very equivalent. Like I got their version of fudge stripes,
Mhm.
and they were just as good. Their potato chips are great. I think it's Clancy's is the brand.
Yeah.
They've got like the kettle chips and regular chips that are really, really good. They even sell like Bona branded, like Italian sausage and brats and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can get some brand name things there, but their in-house brands, like the Simply Nature organic medium salsa, it did come in a mild too. And I will
Okay.
say the medium for a store-bought salsa has a little bit of kick to it. This was terrific. Like seriously, this is my new favorite salsa. And I remember we needed chips and salsa for something else, and I'm like, "Boy, I'm not going to be able to get the Aldi though."
Yeah.
Folks like, just get a different salsa. I'm like, "Boy, I want that one."
Yeah.
That's the one I love. But yeah, I super recommend that. It's super cheap, obviously. And if you were like an Aldi person and you stopped going for a while or whatever, like give it another chance. They've really, not that it was ever bad. Well, maybe like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it felt a little bit like a
Cheap.
like a food line,
Yeah.
like a Soviet. Now they've really upped their game, and especially over the last year or two, the quality of their stuff has gotten really good. And that salsa is fantastic. It
Yeah.
is great.
Should I maybe I should just go through my Friday because that kind of ticks a couple things off the list for me.
Yeah, go for it.
So Friday started out honestly terrible
Oh,
because Sam and I put down
Yeah.
our other dog. So both dogs that Sam had for years, like many, many years, both put down within like 4 months of each other. It was like May 30th and then this past Friday.
has it
So
been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
So
like, yeah, like I said to Hope, like, wasn't that like 3 weeks ago?
yeah, I know.
It feels like it just happened.
I know it really feels like it.
Ugh.
But like the older one was 16 when that happened, and obviously you're lucky anytime any dog gets to 16.
Trust me, dude. You
Yeah,
are lucky.
and this one, like Foster, just like he'd had back problems for years. Like he had to have back surgery, and like Sam did so much to be able to like preserve his life and his quality of life for as long as she did. Like she's a saint for doing what she did for him. So we had to put him down. He was just in too much pain. It was one of those things, whatever.
Yeah.
I am not going to, I'm just going to move on because
Talk about the food.
talk about the food. So after that, Sam had, she had a meeting downtown. She had to walk through for a wedding. So I was just waiting out in Fulton Market. And actually, I was waiting at Beatrix and had the lemon burst cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I should have told you next time you go.
yes.
I would never get an angel food cake.
Mm-hmm.
Their angel food cake is unfreaking real, and they do have a lemon one.
Yeah.
It's like an angel food cupcake.
Ooh.
Next time, Oak Brook or downtown, get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's where I was waiting because like I didn't want Sam to have to drive. So like I went with, so all that stuff, because doing that right after is no fair.
Yeah, right.
And then we were walking back to the car afterwards and we were just like, is that gelato? We're in a terrible mood. Gelato would help, right? Gelato. Yes. Gelato. Oh yes. So
It certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, so we got gelato at Amarino, 818 West Fulton Market, and so many options, so good. Like we each got like 2 flavors in a cup. They look very similar, but Sam's is strawberry and vanilla, and was like, you need to try this. And I was like, no, because I don't want the flavor of the lemon and the raspberry to get out of my mouth.
Oh,
Because, you know, I'm always a sucker for lemon and raspberry. However, like this was like so refreshing, like both of those flavors. It was just like we were both in more of that type of mood than they had chocolatey stuff and more like decadent maybe options as well. Like there's a ton and you can get all the samples that you wanted to try and, you know, like find your right combination. But we were just both feeling more of like a fruit gelato that day. And it hit the spot. It was so refreshing and so good.
Yeah, they do look identical in the picture.
I know, right?
But they both sound awesome. And I'm with you on that. Like, yes, the thing you have sounds good.
Mhm.
However, the thing in my mouth is also very good, and I don't want it to go away.
Yes, exactly. So
I've been
that
there,
was
yes.
that was literally my thought process with that. And then so we drive back from the city, and then Shannon and Steve want to be nice to us on, you know, day that they know sucks for us. So they're like, well, hey, basically we're gonna make you guys dinner, and fajitas were had.
Well, yeah.
And there were chicken variety. There was the chicken for Shannon and Sam, and Steve came through with the tomahawk steak.
Hell yes.
We had real ass steak, and I have probably eaten that with where my mouth is right now, just a couple days away from getting like my permanent crowns and having not messed this up. No, I probably shouldn't have, but did I? You're goddamn right I did. Did my mouth hurt afterwards? A little bit, because I also had chips, and I definitely shouldn't have had chips. But you know what? Survived, and like I would have eaten so much more of that if like my mouth allowed it.
How big is this tomahawk steak?
That's not a small plate.
Like bigger than your hand, like hand sized?
Yeah, a little bigger than my hand.
Okay.
And like the thickness of it was a few inches at least.
They just made that at home?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That looks like restaurant quality.
Yeah, it was
Restaurant.
he did it up right. It was so good. Like it felt like a crime to only have like 3 tortillas of all that, but it was just so hard for me to eat it.
Yeah.
That
And you
like
don't want to set yourself back.
Yeah, I could only do so much, but it was like exactly what we needed that night. Not have to think about dinner, not have to think about it, pretty much anything if we didn't want to. And like the food was so good.
Yeah.
Like it was fantastic. And I'd never had tomahawk before. So even just seeing it in person was just like, holy shit, this thing is legit.
Yeah, nothing hits like a good steak, man. Like it's just, I guess there are bad steaks, but even if you go to the Jewels and grab one out of the deli counter at the markdown,
dude, and they
throw it on
have
the grill, it's gonna be great.
Good deals at the Jewels on steaks. Like my mom will do that, where she's like, hey, we don't do a ton that's like special, but when there's like a really good deal on steaks at the Jewels, she'll do it.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Treat yourself.
Yes.
And you deserve it. You have a shitty week, you deserve it.
Yeah.
You have a good week, you deserve it.
Yes.
An ordinary week, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm fat. I justify my meals by, well, I'm sad, so I need it. Well, I'm happy, so let's celebrate.
Yes.
And so on and so on. That's how you make it work. I actually don't have anything else. I did forget to share my chili photos. Should I do that?
Yes. And then I've got like I can do 2 more things, and
beautiful. Well, there it is stewing.
Mm-hmm.
There it is preparing. It's not done yet. The beans have not been added. This is in the tasting phase.
Yeah.
Charlie's like salt it often, taste it often. And then the final product here is, and it is chili, so it's only going to look so good.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was good. And this one does not have the Fritos in it. but you can see the big beans in there. I got some cheese in
yeah.
there. I did crumble up some Fritos to add to that bowl a little bit later. But man, it's so terrific. So if you order some bacon from Charlie, perhaps ask him about it, and maybe if you order enough, he'll probably tip you off.
I've got a great idea. You know what would be great to dip into that?
What?
A mozzarella stick from Frato's.
That's a really good idea. And they're giant. And if you made 2 gallons, you'd be good to go. Those mozzarella sticks at Frato's are incredible. Even their standard non-weekend mozzarella sticks.
Oh yeah.
They're not the 13-inch, but the probably 5 or 6-inch mozzarella
Something
sticks.
like that, yeah.
Fantastic, like everything at Frato's. And they've got the I'm Fat burger, the I'm Fat pizza, the I'm Fat grilled cheese. But everything they've got there is fantastic. And we've been wanting to tell you lately about the personal chef services. So let's say you're going to the Bears game and you got a tailgate, or you're having just a Sunday night football party coming up, to have a bunch of people over and you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean. Hire Frato's, have their personal chefs come out there and prepare everything for you, cook everything for you, clean everything for you, serve everything for you, do it up for your friends, have a great party. Get all that info on how to do that at FratosPizza.com. There's also FratosBakery.com, with a ton of their amazing baked goods. But really, they want to focus right now on the personal chef stuff because we haven't talked about that very much. They want to get the word out. But if you're going to Frato's for the standard stuff, the burgers, the pizza, whatever, make sure you place your order online and use that code I'm Fat. You'll save 10% on your order every time you order at FratosPizza.com. So make sure you do that. Support them in any way, shape, or form you can, because small businesses need and deserve our support, and Frato's is huge. They employ young people. They get aspiring chefs to come there and work there, and they give them the freedom to create instead of saying, clean the grease pits or you cook the fries. No, be creative. Come up with stuff. It's a great place. It's an asset to the community. So go support our friends at Frato's Pizza, FratosPizza.com. Use that code I'm Fat.
Okay, I've got 2 things. I'll try and get through them pretty quick. I went to a place that you've spoken about many a time on this podcast.
You did.
I went to Orland Park Bakery, and it was incredible. Now this was because it's halfway to Fat Tuesday.
Yes,
that's the reason that Punchkis were back, and Brett was just like, "Hey, this is my area. We have to do this." He took orders for the girls in the office too, so that way everybody had Punchkis. And dude, so good.
It's amazing.
It really is. Like, I got a few of them to also bring home. Like, I had 2 in the moment, but it's also like they are a lot. So
yes, like
you can't have more than, even us, like 2 in a sitting is a lot.
It's like more than, if you've never had a Punchki before, imagine like a jelly filled donut from Dunkin'. Add about 20% in size and filling.
Yes.
And then have 2 of those.
Yeah. It's like the sugar and the size.
Yes.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So I think some of my favorites, the cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Really good. The buttercream, fantastic. The raspberry. I mean, again, I am a sucker for anything raspberry.
Yes.
However, like it was so good. And just then I was able to bring them home, and Sam had them, and she was like, "This is the best Punchki I've ever had."
Have you had my aunts?
Yes. One year you brought them. You brought you left extra early, and you brought some into work, and they were insane. But they're also like a totally different style than the
tiny
ones they
and
have.
they've got real fruit in them, and
yeah. So it's an apples and oranges thing, even if it's technically the same item, kind of. Right. But it's so good. So I was so happy to get to like check that one off the list, and gonna have to come back because everything looks great in there.
Oh man, they've got this cake, and we just call it the ho-ho cake because it is a chocolate cake that is like chocolate frosting, chocolate cake, and then it's got like white swirl.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's actually called.
Is it like the one that like you used to be able to get in the store, like the ice cream version you used to be able to get in the store?
It's not an ice cream cake.
Okay.
It's buttercream with chocolate cake. That's the cake.
Okay.
Buttercream with chocolate cake. So if it's just, to me, it is the greatest, simplest chocolate cake in the world. Like what I like about Orland Bakery is they do a lot of like the simple stuff right. Like their Their donuts are great. Everything there is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Where again, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel with stuff. They get creative with the punch keys.
Yeah.
But like you walk in there, it's going to be your traditional, south side of Chicago bakery,
Mm-hmm.
but all of it's going to be like one of the best of that thing you've ever had,
Yes.
top to bottom. So yeah.
14850 LaGrange Road for those keeping score at home that don't know, like myself. And the last thing I have, and there is a philosophical question with this too at the end.
All right.
Sam and I yesterday got to go through one of the most fun parts of wedding planning.
Yes.
Cake sampling. And she was like, well, hey, this place that I would like to go through if we can, has like take-home kits for it. And I was like, take-home kits? So it's ECBG Cake Studio, 636 North Racine. So if you're watching on the YouTubes, you see how they do this, and it's actually pretty ingenious. You get a box that has like prisms of cake, of the actual cake, and then you just get the little like a sauce container of each type of filling. So what we did is we literally just like split each of those types of cake in half. So we each had it, and we would make combinations and see what ended up working.
That's really smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wasn't my idea. So
it was smart.
It was like, okay, well, we're going to do it like this. And it's like, okay, it's almost like you do this or something. But it was a lot of fun to be able to go through what we thought we were going to end up with when we started versus where we ended up, which is where the philosophical question comes in. Because some of these cakes, because there was vanilla, chocolate, marble, almond, red velvet, and lemon. Okay. I believe that's all of them. And then in terms of your fillings, there was like a cream cheese, a vanilla pastry filling, lemon curd, raspberry mascarpone, however the hell you say it. I don't know. Strawberry of the same variety. There's like a chocolate ganache in there. There was a caramel one as well. Like there was a lot of good stuff.
Okay.
We ended up settling on a combination, like for the filling is where we were definite. A combination of the raspberry whipped mascarpone. God, why can't I've always been able to say that, and today just no.
You got it.
And the vanilla pastry cream.
Okay.
Those two with, and here's where the philosophical question comes in. And mind you, all of these cakes from here, very, very good. We thought we were going to end on a vanilla cake because, you have a lot of people, you want to be able to please everybody to a point, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
However, to us, the vanilla was not as good as the marble.
Okay.
Or the lemon cake. So I think if we were to just choose what we liked best, like just what was the best combination of stuff we ate.
Yeah.
It's the lemon cake with the raspberry and the vanilla pastry cream. And it's, it's bright, it's citrusy, but also it's a March wedding.
Yeah.
And also like the difference when you use the marble is it's almost more like a chocolate covered raspberry type deal. It was still both are very good, and we'd both be very happy with either.
Yeah.
But do we go with the marble because that's probably more like well received by a larger percentage of everybody? Or do we go with the lemon because that was what we personally liked the best?
I don't think you're going to lose a lot of people with lemon cake. I think it's a pretty generally loved flavor. I mean, yeah, if you want to make everyone satisfied, you go with like chocolate or vanilla and everyone, and you're going to satisfy everybody. But like, I don't know. I think it's your wedding, dude. It's your day. You're doing what you want. So one thing that we did was, and granted, we had over 300 people at our wedding. Ridiculous. So we actually, like the next year, I hit the lady up again and said, hey, can you make us an anniversary cake of like this particular flavor that we both enjoyed the most? Yeah. And we shared it on our anniversary. So you could do that. But I don't think I would say if you're doing something like red velvet or I don't know, that might be a little more.
There was almond too that they had. The almond was
yeah. I think lemon is a pretty standard,
and it was
flavor.
definitely the most moist of their
Yeah,
cakes. They were all good. Like they were all fairly moist, but like that was the like, oh, this feels like the best version of this that I've had, to the point where it's like that, how those flavors like melded together was so good that I'm like, yeah, this we were just kind of both like, oh, holy shit, this is a thing, because we didn't think we were going to end up on the lemon cake.
Well, especially if it's superior. So we've done a few things where like for the PMA at Addie's school, they would do fundraisers and we would get nothing but cakes.
Yeah,
and the lemon ones would go the fastest.
Okay,
because they were so good. So I'd say if you're going like the floor version of a lemon cake, okay, maybe. But if you're saying like it was like that much supremely better than the other ones, screw it. Like you might say, yeah, it's lemon raspberry, and people are like, I kind of want a chocolate, and then they're going to taste it and say, oh God, this is really, really good.
Yeah,
I say go with what you want, because what you want is that, again, if it was like you want like the almond chocolate mousse, get one for yourself and then get a regular cake for your guests. But I think lemon raspberry is a pretty standard flavor.
Okay.
So I think you're safe.
Good, because it was so goddamn good.
But what I would really recommend is to do what Sam wants to do.
Which shockingly is the lemon like I was trying to hold myself back at first on the lemon raspberry combo, because of course I'm going to love it. That's just like one of my favorite combos. But when she was like, you know what cake I kind of like the best? The lemon. In my head, I'm like, let's go.
That's wonderful. But really, dear, whatever you prefer.
Yes.
As you're putting like vinegar on all the other pieces of cake to ruin it. No, that sounds good. I will have that. It sounds good. And I'm going to wash it down. I don't know if this would work. Maybe with a sour or something.
Yeah.
With some good beer from Nick and Ivy Brewing, 1026 South State Street, right there in beautiful downtown Lockport. We were just out there for their 4th anniversary. They've still got lots of great beer for you. Even though the party's over, the celebration continues with the awesome beers at Nick and Ivy. And as always, tons of great stuff going on there all the time, every night. Live music, trivia nights, name that tune, whatever you're looking for. There's beer releases happening all the time. So go visit our friends out in Lockport at Nick and Ivy Brewing, 1026 South State Street. Follow them on all their social medias, Facebook and Instagram at Nick and Ivy Brewing. It's wonderful. And follow them on Facebook, because they are constantly updating their events calendar and everything going on. So check them out on Facebook as well. They're very active on the MFAT Podcast fans page. We share their stuff all the time on our social medias, so they should be very easy for you to find. Nick and Ivy Brewing, that's NIK and Ivy Brewing. Go check them out on all their social medias and just go walk in there and get yourself some really damn good beer. Again, the address 1026 South State Street in Lockport. With that, is it time to ask the Fats?
It is.
Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been 1 week since my last confession.
Okay, my son. What is your confession?
I'm fat.
Ask a Fat is brought to you by our pal, Charlie the Bacon Guy, and here he is with this week's Bacon Report.
Thanks, Rick. Oh, nope. Jay? I thought you guys switch it up this week.
Nope.
Maybe not. Anyway, we have French toast, cherry Dr. Pepper, and Applewood smoked bacon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bacon jams are the original, the bourbon, spicy, apple butter, and peach. There's only one of each of the last two, the apple butter and the peach, so get those while you can. As we mentioned last week, we're going to look to take this full time fairly soon, hopefully. So keep them orders coming. As far as new flavors, I won't be making any unless they are ordered. So if you wanted 6 pepper, I won't make it until you order it. If you wanted lemon pepper, won't make it till you order it. You get the idea. I'm going to try and focus as much on the paperwork to get this thing snowballing down the hill as soon as possible. So to maximize my efficiency, I'll be doing only custom orders from here on out. And again, if there's any extra, they'll get up on the website and they'll be available. Until then, this is the Bacon Report, and I'm Charlie the Bacon Guy.
All right, so a slight change in how Charlie's going to do things. So the basics will be there, but those special flavors, you've got a special order them, and he's happy to make them for you. So go check out charliethebaconguy.com, see everything he's ever made before, and say, oh, damn, that jardiniere bacon sounds amazing. Can I get some of that? Yes, sir, you can. Here you go. Here's how you do it. And let's keep supporting Charlie. You guys have been a huge part of why he's been able to take this thing full time and grow the business as much as he has. But don't get complacent. Don't say, well, I already ordered once. I'll just go back to the Hormel bacon at the Jewels. No, dipshit. Don't do that. Get some real ass bacon, jerks. CharlieTheBaconGuy.com or CharlieTheBaconGuy@gmail.com. All right, we have 2 voicemails today. If you want to leave us one, 708-858-3314 is the number. Here we go.
Hey, Fats, it's Jay from Lake of the Hills. I haven't caught this week's episode yet, so I don't know if anyone's called to review it, but I'm calling to review the Taco Bell Baja Blast Gelato, and damn, it's good. It's a little small on the serving size, but honestly, probably for the best, because I could eat my weight in that stuff. Anyway, thanks for all the hard work you guys put into the podcast. Like,
nice sigh at the end there. Did it not have a Baja Blast flavored cake, Rick? Did you not try it?
Oh, dude, if there was, I'm telling you, man, that someone needs to do. That's actually a great idea. I don't care.
Might be okay. It might be okay. I'm not a big Baja Blast guy. I don't think I may have tasted it, but you know,
it's not a must for me, but like, on occasion, I'll when I go, I'll be like, yeah, you got it.
People send it to us a lot. I'm always kind of like, all right, not totally my thing, but I'll give it a shot. I'll try it. I just want to taste the Mountain Dew. I've never had that even, so I will give it a whirl. All right, next voicemail here. Again, 708-858-3314.
Hey, Jay and Rick. Adult Haircut Dave from Skokie here. Best food. How could you not choose the bear? I think the kitchen scene during
the
Christmas episode, while truly harrowing, just always reminds me of my mother-in-law who makes cioppino and does the Meal of the Seven Fishes for Christmas Eve, and it's just chaos but delicious, and everything just looks so good. But my main reason for calling is going way back in time. How do you deal with somebody who is fat blocking you from eating a meal? I think back to CHJO Takeover, where Jay and I were talking in the tunnel between periods, and he had pizza and a pap, and we stood and talked for about 10, 12 minutes, and he was eyeing his food, but he was also intent on listening to me. So how do you balance that need to go get your food eaten, yet deal with somebody who is engaging you in conversation? Have a great time, and congratulations for everything, Rick.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, the reason it was an animated food scene.
Yes,
that was a specific thing. But yes, the bear would probably win a lot of those awards.
Yes.
As for the moment, I do remember talking to Dave holding pizza, but it was like United Center pizza, but sitting out under the lights for probably 3 hours anyway. So it's not like I was missing out on fresh pizza. Now, had I been at Los Angeles and they just put the pizza on my table and I can see the steam coming off it and see those fries just like crackling, then I might shove you down on the ground and go eat my pizza. But I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I don't see Dave very often, so when I see Dave, I like to talk to Dave.
Sure.
But there's some people I don't see very often by choice.
Fair.
Yeah. What would you do, Rick?
Yeah, I would kind of eat through it, honestly. Like, if it was that much of, if it was something that's like, not a knife and fork situation, but like a slice of pizza or something like that, or nachos or whatever. Even if the conversation was going on, I'd try and sneak a bite here and there. And if the person gets annoyed with how I sound when I'm speaking while I'm also eating, then, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. I mean, if you like me enough to talk to me, you're like me enough to sustain our friendship while I eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, let's get to the Ask a Fats and we'll wrap this up.
Ask a Fat about this and that. It's time to chat with the Fats.
leave us an email. I'm fatpod@gmail.com. I will take this one from Kyle from Kokomo. He says, "Hey, fellow fats, it was my first time on the Notre Dame campus for the NIU game, and I was blown away by how beautiful and historic it was and how everybody we met was extremely welcoming. We spent most of our time tent hopping around the aptly named God Squad, stand in line for burgers, eat it in a line to get hot dogs and brats, eat those in line to get tacos. Some tailgaters even offered us food just for walking by. It all culminated in getting the steak sandwich, aka the holiest steak in America, prepared by the Knights of Columbus, which will become a staple every time we return there. Despite no alcohol being sold at the stadium, I was kept fat and happy all the same. Great atmosphere, great people, and a Husky victory. Cheers." That's Kyle from Kokomo. I really do enjoy, one thing is like going through the parking lots and seeing what everybody's making. And they are very kind usually, and they'll offer you something. My buddy Danny Hunt tailgates that and the Bears game every week.
Oh, wow.
He used to have a converted ambulance that was like a tailgate machine, but they ended up selling a tailgate machine. But now he sets up his table with the helmets of he has like every college football team's helmet, like mini helmets. So he has the Notre Dame one and then their opponent on a table. And then typically he'll do like a theme of the opponent.
Okay.
So let's say it's like LSU will be like jambalaya or like, but he just has this knack for like, it's not just burgers and dogs with him. It's like high-end stuff. He's a really good cook. Also, as you're walking through the quad at Notre Dame, there are student groups selling food. So Hope and I always get what we call a quad brat, because I think it's like the Spanish Club or whatever sells these. And they're just out there grilling brats, and they're, for whatever reason, they're super good. And we just make a point of like, let's go support a student organization, because in the stadium it's basic, like, it's the basics. So you want to get the bulk of your food eaten outside. And if you're not there with someone who's tailgating, the quad food is like the next best option. So it is a cool atmosphere. Notre Dame is a very welcoming atmosphere for people. Like I've even been there for like USC games, and it never becomes
a thing.
Yeah, it's just not. And is the alcohol thing, like, do they sell alcohol at NIU for games?
They do. Yeah, they do.
Okay. I don't think it's like just a Notre Dame thing. I think it was like a NCAA thing, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think it was an NCAA thing, and I think now it's individual college. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
It wouldn't shock me if Notre Dame doesn't want being on NBC every week.
Yeah.
Sloppy ass drunk students in the stands. And I mean, I'm sure they're there. They don't stop people from free gaming or whatever.
Sure.
But it's probably an image they're trying to protect a little bit.
Also, from everybody that I talked to, like, brought up the fact of everybody was so nice. All that, like, whether it's this situation of like before the game, tailgating, all that, or even in the stadium once the game was over, like a few people I talked to said like the Notre Dame fans understood the gravity of it for Northern people and were very cool about it. So
yeah, and we're used to that.
Very, very minimal.
Another historic win for an opponent. Great.
Right. A very minimal butthurtedness. So that is appreciated, because there have certainly been places that, you know, Northern plays more often, like Toledo, because they're like, I don't know why, just their fans tend to be the effing worst. But
so much.
But yeah. So there have been places where like the fans are nasty just to be nasty, whether it's, you know, sometimes it's even those big schools when you go there and it's like, what are you doing? Like you're playing Northern, which I guess now has a different, slightly better gravitas to it. So
it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, but yes. So,
hey, I mean, just look at like Appalachian State knocking off Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, oh, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that team. Like, oh, that Appalachian State, that's a team that bit Michigan that one.
Armani Edwards was the quarterback, even though he was a receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they had that they were 1AA at the time. Now they're 1A, and like they've been good before. Not right now. They got their I think like Clemson just like kicked their dick in. It was like 42-0 in the beginning of the second quarter or something last week.
Well, maybe teams don't sleep on Appalachian State anymore. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, so that's cool. All right.
Good.
Last email from Russell, and then Jay won't ever have to talk about that game ever again unless he wants to. Jay and Rick, I know pizza puffs have been mentioned a few times on the pod. Take a look at this sandwich from Chicago Culinary Kitchen and Palatine. Says the puffer will stare you right in the face and say, "Eat me." It's going to be a homemade. There's so many things I want to say. It's going to be a homemade smoked brisket burger topped with a sausage pizza puff, mozzarella, smoked provolone, garlic aioli, marinara, and giardiniera on a toasted bun. This is from Russell.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Smoked brisket burger topped with sausage pizza puff, mozzarella, smoked provolone, garlic aioli, marinara. Oh my God.
Yes.
That sounds good. That's first thing I thought of is I'm going to burn my mouth on this.
Yes. Also true.
Yes,
because it sounds incredible. And it's totally worth losing the top, like the first layer of skin on the roof of my mouth for.
Oh, it happens every time I go to Los Angeles. That's going to be too hot to eat. Yes, it is. And I have no chin skin.
Yes.
That's mostly why I have the beard, is to protect from burning myself on Los Angeles pizza.
That's actually,
see,
that's next level.
Yeah, right.
That's good.
Big brain.
All right. Follow us on all of our social media at I'mFatPod, I'mFatPod@gmail.com. Check out Patreon and Spotify if you like, and I'mFatMerch.com. Get our merch. Or if you don't want our merch and you just want to look at stuff on TeePublic, still use our link because that helps us out.
Lots of people have been doing that. Thank you.
Yes. YouTube.com/I'mFatPodcast. Subscribe, like each video. We're giving you pictures every week in some way, shape, or form, or you can just feel better about yourself by, looking at us.
Yeah.
And then, the time spent watching is definitely needed and appreciated when people do that as well. And you can subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, and resubscribe to the regular podcast feed. Leave the old 5-star rating and review. We got one of those this weekend, so thank you for that as well. And the best thing you can do is check out our sponsors: Charlie the Bacon Guy, Mazda of Orland Park, Fredo's Culinary Kitchen, and Nick and Ivy Brewing. So for Jay, I'm Rick, and this is the I'm Fat Podcast.
French toast, grilled cheese, and ham sandwich.